How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to put together a container to help keep mosquitoes away. This is something that we're going to keep right next to where we're always sitting at, always hanging out, so that way we stop getting bit by mosquitoes. We are already having a problem with them. So, I mean, it's getting into summer now, so I guess that's understandable. But I want to plant up a few things, so let's go over what I bought. First thing I bought is this really beautiful lavender right here, and this is really good to keep those mosquitoes away. They don't really love these like strong smells. I was kind of on the lookout for a citronella plant, but I couldn't find one, so I just bought everything else that was next best. So this lavender that I bought, it was $9. It was on clearance at Lowe's for half off of $9. So picked that up there. Next thing that I bought was this rosemary right here. This also picked up from Lowe's, and this was $7. This is supposed to be a trailing rosemary, and like I said, the strong scents, they don't like either of those, so these will be perfect together. Then I also picked up 2 of these marigolds, and I'm not really a big fan of marigolds, but I liked the look of these flowers right here. They don't look like your typical marigolds, but they still have that marigold smell to them, which personally I don't think is a very attractive smell, which is also another reason that mosquitoes probably don't like it. These were $3 a piece, and I picked up 2 of them. And then the last thing that I picked up is not something that keeps mosquitoes away, but I thought it was really pretty. This is the Evergold Japanese Sedge, and this was $13. I was actually really looking for a lemongrass, but I couldn't find any lemongrass. So for, I guess, the purpose of this video, pretend this is lemongrass. But I thought that this would be really nice, kind of spilling over with the rosemary in the background, then the lavender back here, and then just a couple little pops of yellow. So let's get these guys planted. First thing I'm gonna do though is I have all of my drip supplies. This is the 1/4 inch black poly right here, and I'm going to run this directly up the bottom of this pot right here, just like this. You don't have to do it this way. This is just the way that I prefer to do it. I don't like to be able to see the drip irrigation in my garden, so I run it up the bottom, and then I connect it kind of hidden. That way it's on the back side and you don't even see it. Whereas if I were to not run it, it would just kind of hang over the edge, and then you see this loop of drip irrigation. So it's more just like aesthetically pleasing to just run it up the bottom. And we just do that first. I'm gonna give this a fresh cut, just like that. And then most of these are pretty drought tolerant, so I don't want to go in with too much drip irrigation, but I also want to make sure that everything is getting enough water. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with a barbed tee like this guy right here, and I'm just going to pop this in here, and then I've got some length left on here. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to make 2 shorter lengths, just like this. And we're going to attach this to both sides of this T. We're going to attach this to both sides of this T coupler, like so. And then this will be able to sit in here like this, as you can see, and then I can direct water to 2 direct points. So that way it's not just on one side, making sure that one side gets more water than the other. This way it's a more even disbursement of water. I think what I am going to go in with is a 1 gallon per hour, and we're just going to pop these in here. Our drip irrigation goes off for about 15 minutes a day, so each of these will produce about 1/4 gallon each time that they water, so that means that this pot is going to get half a gallon of water during a watering cycle. So we've got that in there like so. Let's go ahead and put all this away, and then I'm going to fill this up with some soil. So I'm just going in with a super basic potting soil. It's nothing super special. This is the Happy Frog. This is the Fox Farms Happy Frog potting soil. It's nothing super special. This just happens to be what I use for all of my containers. It's kind of expensive for what it is, but I figured it's got good stuff in it and it really helps continue to feed my plants. And it's also what I'm able to find locally. And now that I have put that in there. I'm actually just gonna go in with a little bit of Biotone. This is just a starter fertilizer. I keep it in this tote because it kind of smells bad, and we leave it in the shed, and every time you go into the shed, you smell it. So I put it in a tote that's sealed up. That way I don't have to smell the Biotone every time that I walk into the shed. So that's really handy. Close this guy back up. And this is so much easier to carry around than a bag. And then I normally just actually keep that in a pail. Mix this guy up. This is a slow release starter fertilizer, so this will continue to feed this all the way through the rest of the season. So, first thing that we're gonna start with is this sedge, and this is gonna be front and center. This one's a little bit more water hungry than the rest of these. The lavender and the rosemary are pretty drought tolerant. So I'm gonna make sure that an emitter is pretty close to this guy right here. So that is in there, that looks really nice. That immediately brings huge impact. I mean, one of these would be pretty alone just in a container. Then I'm gonna go ahead and tuck in this lavender back here behind that. Kind of going off to one side. I'm gonna break these roots up just a little bit. Tucking that back there. That's gonna add some really nice height to this container. Then over on this side is where I'm gonna add that rosemary. This guy's gonna go off to the side just like that. Then on both sides of this is where I'm gonna add this little pop of yellow. So both these marigolds, I'm gonna put one on each side. Just like that. And then the last one is gonna go right on the other side over here. And then there's a couple little holes in here with some where there needs to be some soil, so I'm just gonna go ahead and backfill with the soil now. I'm just gonna pull this drip tight and then attach these in here. And then in order to keep the drip irrigation down, I'm just gonna go in with a couple landscape staples so I can target them exactly where I want these guys at. Okay, that looks perfect. And the lavender and the rosemary are gonna get pretty tall. This is gonna be backed up against another container that has a magnolia in it, but it's gonna be right next to where we sit. So these will be able to get nice and tall. The lavender should maybe double in size. The rosemary will just continue to grow as long as I don't prune on it, but I will probably end up pruning on it and using it in all kinds of other things. The marigolds here, these are a dwarf variety marigold, so they're not going to get absolutely massive like some of the other ones. These ones will stay about 10 inches tall, so they're gonna get about here and maybe kind of like hang out to the sides a little bit. And this grass, this beautiful grass, will just continue to hang down this way. It probably won't do much this year. And honestly, after the end of the year is over, when the marigolds are done, I can just dismantle this during the fall time, plant out the rosemary, plant out the rosemary, plant out the lavender, and plant out this grass here. So I am really happy with how this turned out. And this is really gonna help with the mosquitoes. So let's go ahead and go place this guy. I'll show you where it's gonna go. And then I also picked up 3 little terracotta feet to make this thing rise up off the ground a little bit, just because that drip line is hanging out the bottom, so it kind of wants to wobble. This will make it so that doesn't even matter. I'm really happy with how this turned out. We have a lemon tree here, a magnolia tree here, and then this super cool little arrangement. Very happy with how this has turned out. And I really like the look of these marigolds. They don't look like any typical marigold. So that's really nice. It kind of gives it a really pretty pop of color. Full sun container, all of that wants as much sun as we can give it. So that is a perfect spot for it. You can see it's getting full sun right now. And this is where we sit all the time. So this should help with mosquitoes. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully that helps you guys take care of mosquitoes on your property, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.